If you're a developer, then you know how hard it is to work with poorly documented libraries. And you also know that the documentation you're reading online might not match the version that you have installed in your system. New programmers are more tempted to use trial and error and just treat modules as black boxes. This is completely understandable. This video is about Python libraries, and I want to show you that they're just pieces of code that are saved on your computer, and you can open them and look at them and use them for reference. Here in my command line, I'm going to start by opening Tmux. Tmux, new session, Zazen. I'm just going to open Vim to look at the project that I've been working on. In this project, I've been using Moviepy. Here's the GitHub repo for Moviepy, and it's a really popular project. And it does have great documentation, but I got confused by it because there's two versions of Moviepy. The version on PyPI is 1.0.3, and that's what's documented here. But there's a completely separate set of documentation on a different domain for Moviepy 2.0. And this version of Moviepy can only be installed from GitHub. It's not actually on PyPI, but it gives you access to these type of code snippets, which they're showing in their examples. The point is, I found the documentation online confusing, and I found myself wondering, what do I have installed on my system? So let's go back into my terminal. Here I'm importing an image clip class. I want to see what the source code for this looks like. I'm going to start by opening up a new pane, and I have a virtual environment that I'm using for this project. So I can open up Python inside of that virtual environment like this, and then I can import my Moviepy library. I'm just going to grab all of this and paste it down here. By the way, I have an amazing key map set up. Here it is, yank to clipboard right here. And that lets me paste between windows. For example, if I had these two lines highlighted, I would press space Y, then I could hop down into my terminal here and import them just by pasting them. I've got a whole video on how I configured Vim if you want to check that out. But I digress. We're trying to find out where the Moviepy library lives on my computer. So I can import inspect, and then I can inspect.get file of whatever I want, and I'm going to pass in image clip here, and this gives me a file path. So now what I'm going to do is copy that file path, open up a new pane in Tmux, and I'm going to open up this path. But I don't just want this file, I want the source of the entire package, Moviepy, and I can open that up here. And here's all the source code for this library. Now what I want to do is be able to search in here. These are the telescope key maps that I'm going to use. So I have find files with fs, but I want to use fz right now. So I wanted to look for image clip, right? Like this. So I'm going to type space fz, and then I can type image clip, and I can start looking through these. Now I need to expand this a little bit there. So now I'm finding places where image clip shows up in the Moviepy library. I'm going to pick this one. And this is just a place where Moviepy is using this image clip internally. And now with my Neovim setup, I can press space GD, and I can go to the definition of this. And this is the source of my image clip class, and it's where this code is defined in the library. Now, rather than using this preview dialog, I actually want to go to this. So I'm going to type GD, and it's going to follow that to the file. I can go to my previous buffer to see where I was, and go forward a buffer to go to the place where this image clip is actually defined. And in here, I can see some examples of using it, but I can also see the parameters that it's taking in. And then I can go through those parameters and look at how they're actually using this and how they're actually working with the data. From here, I can also see methods that they have defined on this class, like transform, image transform, and so on. If I want to see the source of this file, I can open up my tree, and I can see it's in this video clip file under video. Just as an aside, you'll notice that I'm importing it from the editor file. So if I go over here and look at editor, clearly this file is just pretty much designed to make everything in the library available for import. But you can see how this gives us access to all of our assets. By the way, if I go back into my Vim config and I look down here, I have this go-to preview library installed. And this is why I can do leader GD in order to pull that definition up. Go to preview is here, this one. This is just a Vim plugin that you can install. But even if you don't have this, what you would want to install is LSP. And LSP is pretty involved, and I have a whole video explaining exactly how I did this with Python, which I'll link in the description. When you're configuring LSP, there are certain key maps that become available or that you can configure, and GD goes to your definition, and that's what I'm using to do that. I'm Alex, and here on ZazenCodes, I teach full stack data science. Being proficient in the terminal and understanding how your dependencies are installed and how they work are foundational software engineering skills, and this video will help with that. By the way, if you like my videos here on YouTube, then you can head on over to Patreon to support the work I do. There you can get free access to my Second Brain Notion repository where I keep all of my notes, and you can sign up to get video walkthroughs of my notes. I'll show you another example. Say I want to find out more about this concatenate video clips. I can yank that to my keyboard, and then over here in my source code for Moviepy, I'm going to search for that, and now I can start looking through, and you can see how there's some like doc strings here which are showing examples of how to use this, which might be valuable to you. But let's find a place where it just lives in the code, and now I can type GD, and this will go to that definition just like we did before. And again, this is just using this LSP language server in Neovim. Now, if you're using VS Code, there's definitely an analogous way to do that. And I assume most people watching this won't be using Neovim, but can still get a lot of the benefits of what I'm doing through other tools. As you can see, this doc string is particularly helpful for understanding this method. But I think it's also extremely powerful that you can then dig into the library and understand how it works by looking at the source code. So for example, this BG color argument, I can search for that and go down to see exactly where it's being used. Now I could go to composite video clip, and I can follow that, and I can follow the BG color parameter, and I can see how it's being used in here. You can see how it is checking for transparency in this case, and then it's sort of defining some defaults. I'll show you another example of how this works using a totally different library and project. Let's try Airflow. All right, I'm gonna go to a project I have where I use Airflow, and I'm gonna open up a DAG. This is not something I wrote, but I found online, and it does log cleanup. So let's say I wanna look at this dummy operator, and I wanna know how this works. All right, I'm gonna open up my virtual environment. So I'll go back to that project, and I have a virtual environment here. And again, I'm gonna go into Python, I'll import my inspect library, and then I'm gonna import this Airflow library. So I wanted the, I don't know, let's say these two, and I'll just bring those in. If I look at my dummy operator, it's really messy, it's kind of hard to see, but there it is. So now I'm gonna say inspect.get file. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna copy that, change my configuration and minimize it, go back up here. So just like we had it before, and I'm gonna open up that Airflow location. And so let's take a look at this. If I expand this window, you can see that it's now inside of this project, inside of the virtual environment that I have in this lib folder, and it's Python 3.11 that this virtual environment has installed. And then inside of my site packages, Airflow folder, I have Airflow in here. And I can type GZ and look for this dummy operator. And I can look for the same way I did before. If I can find where it's being used in the code, doesn't seem like I can. Let's try something else. What if I went to operators folder? Can I find that on here? All right, here it is. And inside of here, I want the dummy operator file. I don't even see that. So if I go to my init, what do I have in there? Oh, I see. So that's what I was finding. This is how I can go ahead and import it, right? And you can see in here it's in this empty folder, which makes sense because down here in Python, when we inspected it, we saw that it was in that empty file. So if I go back here and look for empty, where it's defining the dummy operator, but it kind of does that through this like abstraction of this empty operator for some reason. Let's see if the bash operator is a little bit more straightforward. Okay, we can see the same type of thing happening, but now we can actually find this bash operator, and this is in a file called bash. One that I use all the time is the Python operator. So let's have a look at that. and it's going to take in some Python callable, and this is how it's doing that right here. And if you scroll down, you can kind of see how it's working, how it's actually going ahead and executing that. You could sort of start following this code around and understand how this library works. One thing I'll say is we have to be really careful not to edit code, because there's nothing really stopping you from just typing things in here and changing how this code works. And that would completely break this library in a confusing and unexpected way. So be sure not to make any changes in here. So that's it. I hope you learned something interesting from this video, and I'd be curious what that thing is for you. Leave me a comment to let me know and we can talk about it. And if you have any tips for how to do this sort of thing in VS Code or a different application, I'm sure the community would love to know, so post about that in the comments as well. If you want to do things exactly like I did here using Neovim, then I made an entire video on how I installed and configured Neovim as a Python IDE. And I think that's got a ton of useful information for anyone using Neovim. And lastly, if you got value out of this video, I'd appreciate it if you gave me a like and consider subscribing. As a new channel, this really helps me get my videos discovered. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Namaste.